but don't break defense, but we don't want to give up big plays.
I mean, it's a really good program. I'm not disparaging it, but
it's historic.
But come on, Notre Dame fans. I mean, college football has pretty much passed you by.
LL Cool J is hard as hell. Battle anybody, I don't care, you tell.
That hit as hard as just about any song that ever dropped. Rock the bells. You get more on this game in South Bend with the coach of the 8th-ranked Cincinnati Bearcats. They head to South Bend. Good morning, Coach Luke Fickell.
How we doing, guys?
What's up, Luke?
What's up, Coach?
I see someone's got a little energy over there. That's good. The former football player, I should say, right?
Fired up, ready to go. Couldn't wait to talk.
Good.
He actually recruited my nephew to Ohio State.
Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
I was wondering if you were going to be able to bring that up. Yeah, I remember you being at practice a bit too. So
yeah, of course.
You're doing well, obviously.
Yeah, I had to make sure y'all did the right thing by him. You know, coming all the way from the West Coast to all the way back to the Midwest, East Coast, I had to make sure Coach Fickell and them took care of him.
He just talking about how the West Coast has to recruit the West Coast players, the whole thing, your own family heading east.
Well,
and you're supporting it and the whole thing.
That's because Coach Fickell knew what to do. He got the job done, much like he's getting the job done in Cincinnati. Speaking of that, Coach, what has it been like for you this week, getting prepared to take on the Irish? I mean, it's a big game for you. A lot is on the line. What's it been like?
Well, it's kind of crazy just because the community here of Cincinnati has been probably a really big Notre Dame following group. And so outside of just our walls, I think you're hearing a lot. Everybody's traveling, talking about traveling to the game and things. And I kind of want to ask them, okay, you're traveling to the game, but what exact colors will you be wearing? But there's a lot of interest in it. Obviously, it's been like that for a couple of years, and it just happens to be obviously a year that both of us are ranked in the top 10. So I think it's a great buzz, not just for our program, but for the entire community and city.
Coach, what would a win not only mean for this team, but also for Group of Five's chances to finally get a team in the college football playoffs?
Well, really, a win would mean we would be 4-0. And, you know, for us, we try not to look at it that much different. I think one of the unique things with the program is we've never, since the day we got here, we kind of eliminate that different groups in league, kind of the P5 type of thing. We kind of eliminated that from our entire verbiage and from our vocabulary because we wanted to say, well, there's nothing different. Now, we all understand there's some differences, and not just with the league, but in revenues and things like that. But if we allow our kids to understand it's something different, then they'll be looked at, you know, they'll look at themselves as different. And sometimes is to have an excuse and a crutch if things don't go well. So we know it's huge. We know it's huge, not just for our program, but obviously for this team that's come a long way. And, you know, a lot of these guys like a Desmond Ridder who've been through a lot of stuff from year one where we could barely win 1 or 2 games to, you know, where he's taken us and given us the opportunity to be now.
Coach, what would a win mean for, you know, the Group of Five's chances to finally get a team in the college football playoffs?
Well, it's a long season. And I know everybody likes to talk about those things, but the reality is no matter what, call us a Group of Five team, call anybody that I'd say is not a top 10, top 5 program over history needs to have signature wins in order to get in. And I'm not going to pinpoint other people, but as we look at the playoffs in general, it's been basically 5 or 6 teams and then a wild card every year. And whether it's us at Cincinnati or UCF a few years ago, in some people in the Big Ten, some people in the SEC, some people in the Pac-12. I mean, if they're going to get in, there has to be signature wins. Somebody in the SEC is going to have to beat Alabama or Georgia if they want to get in. Someone in the ACC is legitimately not just going to have to be undefeated, but they're going to have to beat Clemson in order to get in. And, you know, for us this year happens to be that, you know, Notre Dame's on the schedule. It's kind of matches up really well. And if there's any chance in the future, you got to have those signature wins. And that's what this would be for us.
Mm-hmm. Coach, your bones were made on the defensive side of the ball, obviously ex-linebacker and your defense has been pretty outstanding this year while Notre Dame's offense has struggled to some degree, right? How does your team get them off the field to avoid, you know, big long stretches and drives of that nature?
That's going to be the key. You know, the way they have played, I mean, they've got big play capability, but I think still what Coach Kelly has done there in the last few years, when you really hear him talk about not playing some of those big games is limiting sometimes the possessions on the other side of the ball, controlling the ball. They've done really good job over the last 3 or 4 years of doing that. And I think that's where going into the game, we've got to do a really good job on defense, and not just, eliminating points and eliminating big plays, but eliminating those long drives so that we can make sure we can get the opportunities back for our offense to try to create some of that momentum, because we're a team that feeds off of one another. We're not solely an offensive-based team or a defensive-based team. We're one that, we really got to play that complementary football. And defensively, what that means is you got to get guys off the field and not allow those 10, 12, 14-play drives.
On the offensive side of the ball, obviously Notre Dame Stadium can get loud at times when they get to rocking and rolling. And Desmond Ridder was saying that your OC in Mike Denbrock, who actually coached at Notre Dame, kind of has an understanding of what that stadium can be about, just basically said that, it shouldn't be loud for too long. So he's kind of giving some warning signs. What are you doing in terms of preparation for that?
Well, you haven't been to our practice yet. I know you came to a few practices there in Columbus, but in general, everything that we do is loud. Whether it's our weight room, whether it's practice, whether for home games or away games, by nature, we've done a lot of that stuff. So, yeah, again, you use the crowd noise things, you use the music. The reality is I don't think you can allow – we probably overdid it going into the Indiana game 2 weeks ago, and it really kind of slowed us down offensively. And so in some ways you've got your silent counts, you've got your signals and things like that. But we don't want to get too much out of our game. If we have to adapt and adjust in the midst of a game, we will. Whether it's with the silent cadence, whether it's with tapping the center before they're going to snap the football. If it means we have to huddle a little bit, we will. But we really want to kind of make sure that we can get ourselves in a rhythm. We expect it to be loud. We want it to be loud. I guess that's the environment we love to play in. But I don't think we can allow it, in our preparation to take us out of what we need to do.
So, Coach Fickell, man, I'm here, and I know I don't want to be a distraction, nor do I want this conversation to be a distraction for your team. But how have you handled your name floating around a potential vacancy out west where there's a pretty beach and a lot of sand and gorgeous trees and all of the popular things that people like in the world, and that would be a possible opening at USC, and your name's floating around as one of the candidates? How have you handled that with your team this week going into the Notre Dame game?
Well, the good thing is we've been very fortunate in the last 3 years because of what we put on the field and the players that we've got, that it's given us an opportunity, whether it's me or a lot of our other coaches, to have, opportunities after the season, for other jobs and things like that. And we've kind of embraced it as a program. We've had, actually this year, we've had a few guys that were, approached about leaving early. 2 years ago, we had a running back leave early. So I kind of look at it in the same realm as those guys are. I said, hey, anytime those things are brought up, whether it's a junior to leave early, whether it's a coach, myself, or something else, we look at it as that's a great compliment to the program. It's what we have done on the field that gives us all these opportunities, and we want them to be out there, because if we're having success, if Desmond Ridder's doing a great job, Luke Fickell is going to get a lot of the success. He's going to get talked about, and there's going to be other opportunities. So we kind of embrace them to say, hey, this is what the program is going to bring us. As long as we continue to have success, we don't dwell upon them. We really don't allow them to kind of distract us from what we've got to do. But we kind of embrace the idea that with success is going to give a lot of us a lot other opportunities. But we got to make sure we focus on each other right now.
That's correct. California beaches are nice.
Luke Fickell, Cincinnati head football coach. Saturday, his number 8 Cincinnati at number 9 Notre Dame. Thank you, Coach.
All right, Luke.
Coach. Good luck.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
All right.
Luke Fickell.